Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a Kickstarter unboxing of Keep the Heroes Out. This is an asymmetric cooperative dungeon defense game for 1 to 4 players, and interestingly enough, in this game you play as the monsters trying to keep the pesky heroes out from taking your gold and treasures and things of this nature. I'm going to be unboxing everything that's in here, but before we do, I would like to thank Colin at the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is his Kickstarter edition that he's allowed me to unbox so I can show you everything that's in the game. He will then be doing a playthrough over on the One Stop Co-op Shop channel, so please check that out. And in the future, that's where you'll see the video for this game. And as time goes on, I'll try to get the game back from him, and I'll probably do a video myself because this game looks super cool. If you're interested in seeing a playthrough of this video, please let me know in the comment section of this video, and then if enough people are interested, I'll try to get it back from him. I might even break into his house and steal it. Roar, no. I'm not going to do that. But for those of you that don't know, Colin actually only lives about 15 minutes from me, so it's really neat that we're able to experience some of these games together and be able to pass them back and forth so that we can each have a great wealth of games to be able to show all you on these channels. So if you're excited to see what's inside Keep the Heroes Out, the Kickstarter unboxing, then I need you to meet me at the table. Before we open it, I would like to mention that this is for 1 to 4 players. It takes about 40 minutes, and the recommended age is about 14 plus for this particular game. So let's open this up, see what's inside, and start investigating Keep the Heroes Out. Of course, it starts with a wonderful instruction booklet. We'll have to go through this, learn how to play. Well, actually, Colin will have to learn how to play. I don't have to learn how to play, at least not yet, and see what it's all about. It does have some great diagrams, some great, looks like a really good, well laid out rule book from what I can tell. Of course, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know exactly how it all transpires, but even on the back it is going to show you what you do on your player's turn and all the different types of action and all the iconography you're going to see in the game most likely. Let's move this apart and see what's next. Next we have the dungeon book. I don't know how much of this I want to show because I don't really want to show stuff. It looks like there is a scenario mode, there's a one-shot mode, and chronicler mode. This is your first game. This is not for you. The chronicler is a scenario in chapters. Each chapter consists of 4 scenarios, so it kind of almost can be like a mini campaign type thing. Whereas scenario mode, when you keep the heroes out, you can choose to play various scenarios in 2 different modes, either one-shots or chronicler mode. So of course the one-shots are just going to be a game in itself. Pack it up, you're done. The chronicler mode can go through multiple missions, being able to kind of string them together. The scenario setup is shown here on how to build everything up. And let's see if I can turn to the next page and show you. Okay, it looks like we do have the first one. I'm going to show you the first one, and I hope that's okay. I know people don't really like spoilers sometimes in their unboxings, but this is just the first mission you would see, and this is the one they do recommend you playing with at first. I'm going to kind of hide what's over here, and it shows you exactly how you're going to lay this out, where to place your treasures, where to place all the different tokens that are going to go with it. If you notice, some of these treasure chests have numbers on them. That's how many heroes need to be in that area in order to be able to open those treasure chests, from what I understand. So your goal is to prevent them from doing all that. You don't want them to take and loot your dungeon. So there's each one is shaped completely different, and on the top of that, we're then going to have to get our monsters and things and populate the dungeon with them as well. And then of course the heroes are going to come in and they're going to try to kill us and take our stuff. So I'm going to put the mission book aside. That's all I'm going to show you from that. There is a pretty decent sized book of stuff there. It looks like there's about 22 pages of goodies in here, so I'm going to put that to the side, and then we're going to go to our punch board. These are all the different heroes that could potentially be going into our dungeon. These are portal tokens that once used can allow your monsters can move from place to place. These are hero tokens down here, and these are again those treasure chests I showed you in the book that we just looked at. Then we have more tokens here. Wow, these things just plop right out. These are going to be the difficulty level tiles. On top of that, we have all our different resources that we're going to be gaining that then we can use to, from what I understand, maybe craft new cards and be able to put them into our decks. This right here is our first player token, and this is our wave token, and these are just falling out. So as you can tell, it's pretty it's nicely able to punch everything out. These are the difficulty levels. There is like a family mode, which is what they call it, a family mode. There's kind of a normal mode or hard mode maybe, and then an expert mode. And those all have to signify by how many, I believe, what do you call them? The heroes. I think hero cards you have to draw in order to see what happens in your dungeon. And of course, you flip them over when you go to the second stage of the game. And then, of course, more are going to be coming in. You see the numbers of these have increased. So we'll set those punch board aside and continue on here. It looks like we have our dungeon tiles. And again, there's a whole bunch of them here. I think there's like 12 different tiles that you're going to be able to go through and make your dungeon out of. And each one of these have a whole bunch of different icons on top of them up there. And these are just going to be able to tell you what you can specifically do inside each of these rooms. For example, here, this is going to be, I believe, which one is this? This looks like you can discard a gold to be able to get X amount of treasures or loot, I believe is how that's going to work. And each one of these is a little bit different. This looks like it could be, look at this guy, he's sleeping on the table taking his eyeball out. That's out of control. That's pretty awesome. I'm not exactly sure which one that is. This one, I think for every caged person, you're able to gain something. And there's different things for each thing. You can get bones from this one. Obviously, it's a crypt of some kind. This one, I can exchange bones to get, I believe, more pets or more monsters or something. I can take beast cards. There's different types of loot. One of them is beasts, so we could take beast cards from here. Here, we're going to be able to gain the frog resource in here. This one is going to be able to put down traps in this room, and those traps are not against us. Those are what are going to affect the, the heroes as they come in. For this one, I can remove 1 gold to be able to gain an equipment card from the loot, so that you're going to be able to use your own gold to kind of upgrade things. Again, using more of your resources like frogs. If you use the frog, you're able to gain a potion card from the loot deck. So there's a whole bunch of different things. And again, here's another one of those resources. This is just a book resource, a gold resource, and the game will tell you exactly how to set each one of these up, and you'll place these tiles all around here, and they are all connected in some way, like by the doors here that you see on the side. So this one could not be connected because there's not a door there, unless of course they place secret doors in here. I don't think they do. I haven't had a chance to look through everything, but those are the tiles. They look really cool. They are not double-sided, just to let you know. They are only one-sided. So there we have the tiles. Look at these meeples are out of control. These are way bigger than I expected. Oh my goodness. So like this sits in my hand like this. This is a way bigger meeple collection and way bigger size of meeples than I expected. Here we have slimes. We have, I believe these are like rat type creatures. What are some of the other ones we have? We have lizard men right here. We have a giant dragon. Oh, there's the dragon. Look at this thing. There's a big giant dragon here. And I think it's kind of neat that they use these meeple system as opposed to miniatures, because it, again, makes the game way easier to get to the table. We have skeletons. We have witches. There's even some poltergeists in here. Look at this. I'm not afraid of no ghosts. Look at those right there. All right, we'll put those right back into our box and seal this back up. But they do have a bunch of meeples, and these are all going to represent your monsters inside of the dungeon. Then we do have, of course, our 3 sets of cards. So we'll take a look at what are these. Now, before we go too far further, I do want to mention that these are double-sided, and if you can see, there's a gray portion here. So when you activate each of these heroes, then you would flip them over to show that they have been activated. These are the portals, and these are what are found inside of those chests, which are going to affect your game as you play through it. And this shows you kind of what could happen if one of these hero tiles is, it's random, so you're not sure what's going to happen, and you could get nothing, or you could get one of these type of icons over here, and well, a golden ticket. I wonder if Willy Wonka comes out. That'd be kind of cool. The first deck of cards we have is our guild cards. This deck is going to be assembled differently depending on whatever mission you're in and what you decide to play in. On the cards themselves, you're going to find what type of hero is coming into your dungeon, what type of terrain they're going to be placed into. For example, that one right here means you're going to place characters into libraries and apothecaries. You're going to place a ranger into each, or archer, whichever, into one of those things. Then over here is going to be what that character is going to try to do on their turn, and that's what that is. Then of course they have the health up here. There are some unique cards in here as well. For example, this one, this is considered a scenario card, and these are going to be mixed into the deck along with whatever cards they tell you to put in for the normal heroes coming into the deck, into the dungeon. And these specific cards are going to be specific to the scenario you're playing, and they're going to have their own type of thing on here. For example, scenario 2 might be something about saving people, because it looks like there's like cages here, and so when you draw this card, you may have to discard a cage to gain a card or something. We'll see how this all transpires. Or for example, this one, I'm going to have to remove a frog or a card if I can't, depending on if you drew this during their turn. And the number of these you draw is equal to your difficulty. For example, if you're playing on family, you draw one of these. And there's 2 different waves. So as soon as you get the second wave, though, you would then draw 2 cards. Where if you're playing on challenging or hardcore, you'd be drawing even more of these. And they're all very similar. They're all either just a enemy, or I should say a hero, but here the heroes are the enemies, and telling you where exactly they're going to go and what they're going to do on their turn when they activate. On top of that, they're also going to be trying to take out your monsters as well. Then let's see if I can find any more of these guys. Here's a wizard guy, for example. He's going to try to break locks as he comes in and tries to free people. Then we have the warrior, we have the archer. I think there's also a rogue in here somewhere. Here it is, the rogue. The rogue is going to try to disarm a trap, and again, we don't know where this person's going to be placed because they're all going to be shuffled together before they be placed into your actual scenario. So this is kind of like your monster deck, but I guess it's called your hero deck, I guess. So that's going to be set aside, and you're going to be drawing these every time it comes to their turn. The next set of cards are going to be these. These are your tactic cards. Depending on which particular clan you're using, you're going to have cards that are going to be able to activate your monsters, I should say. You're going to have it's hand of 5, and you're going to play them all out and be able to perform all these actions. And then at the end of your turn, you're going to draw back up to 5. So you want to try to play them all, be able to use them for everything they can possibly do. And as you look at this card, it's going to tell you kind of what it's all about here. This is the clan that supports this card, and it shows you down here what you can do with this particular card if you decide to play it. With a slash, of course, you have to choose which one you want to use. I could move twice with this slime card, or I could use its ability on its clan, and I'll show you that in just a second. If you have this one, it's the same one. This is the same. Well, they're all the same. Okay. We got the lizard man. He can do, like, for example, some range attacks, or he can do this other option. I believe it's going to be placing one down in that type of location. Put a lizard man down in that location he wants. Lizard men have a lot of the same ones as well for that, but of course they're all going to be different. Those are just happen to be the 3 on top. Then we have, for example, these are the witches. The witches, I could choose any one of these. I could do its action. I could grab a frog resource, or I could place one down inside either, I believe it was a laboratory or a, what do you call them, libraries, I believe is what it is. I think it's going to be able to spawn another one in if you wish to do that with this card. I think that's what those are. Now it looks like we have another slime. Here's another slime one, for example. It could move and attack, or you could maybe place one down. I think that's what that means, be able to place another one down. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. And again, we've got these hyena-type characters. They're actually not hyenas. I apologize. They're, I believe, ghouls is what they're called. I think they call them the ghouls. Oh, no, they're not ghouls. What am I talking about? They can't be ghouls, can they? Yeah, they're gnolls. Maybe I should call them gnolls, not ghouls. Gnolls are more the... I gotta bring back my Dungeons & Dragons abilities here. That is not a ghoul. A ghoul is a giant, evil, undead creature. This is not one of those. This is a gnoll. A gnoll is able to, for example, move an attack or, again, place one down. And you're gonna have a hand of 5 of these. Here's the dragon. It can move an attack or do its action. Let's go head over here a little bit farther. And here we have one that's for our ratkins. They can either place a couple down or they could move. Again, we got a dragon that can move an attack or use its action. Here's we got one where you can grab a card or defense, I believe. And then we could maybe do 2 ranged attacks. So these are all going to be in your hand based on whichever clan you decide to use. And the clan cards are all right here. These are going to tell you exactly everything you need to know about which clans you're taking. And when you set the game up, you're going to choose a clan to play with. And those are the monsters you're going to have on the board. If you're playing 2 players, you each get to choose one. There are specific scenarios that you can't use certain ones of these, but that's based on the chronicler mode. The chronicler mode is more of a stretched out scenarios where you can play up to about 4 of them. And in each one of the scenarios, it tells you certain ones you can't use. But if you're just doing a one-shot, I believe you can use any one you want. For example, here we got our ghouls again. I mean gnolls! No, I'm kidding. We've got our gnolls. And it shows you everything you're going to need to know about your specific clan here. For example, the top part here is like that special ability I was telling you about. If you decide to activate the characters, you'll be able to do an attack action. This is when we summon our monsters. We're going to be placing them, 2 of them down inside these particular rooms that fit that location tag. I think they're going to be in here. For example, there's the eyeball right there. There we go. It could be placed down in here. So you're going to put them, this will be obviously in the dungeon somewhere, so you'll be able to place your monsters in those locations. The number here is the lair number. This is how many you have available to you. This is how much health they have. And this is going to be I think it's the tactic cards that they are going to be using. It shows what they can use. Oh no, that's not going to be. This is every time they leave the lair, that's how much damage they have. I'll have to look again exactly what all these do. But This is the clan card, just to let you know, and you're going to have this out there for you. And then along with that, you're going to have all your little monsters that are going to go along with it, and you're going to have your tactics cards that are played out in a deck like this. And of course, if you can't ever draw a card from your tactics deck, you'll just shuffle your discard pile together. You're not going to shuffle your hand into the discard pile, just the discard pile itself. So you do have all these, so it's really cool because you can try any types of monsters you want. Now see, these, they might be more powerful potentially, but you only get a few of them. Where, for example, if we decide to use those slimes, oh, here we go, look at these guys. These imps, we get 4 of them. There's 4 of them, but their cards might not be as powerful. Their tactics might not be as powerful. And so you have to choose wisely as to what you think would be best for the certain scenario that you're playing in. It's all going to be your choice, and I think this has a lot of replay value based on the fact that you can choose all these different clans and all the different tactics cards. The final set of cards we have, these are going to be loot cards that I believe you're able to use during your turn if you wish to. For example, you can do whatever it says here on the bottom of this card. I can create a portal, or I can do 4 magic or ranged attacks with this card. I believe these are one-time use effects, so once you use these, they're going to be gone. These are beast cards. You also have different types. You have equipment cards, you have beast cards, you have potion cards, and you have scroll cards. For example, this is a scroll, as you can tell. This is a gear card, this is a beast card, and this must be a potion card right there, and each one of these is going to be doing different things for your specific characters. These are beasts that are going to come in and be able to help you, for example, or you can use these to do some attacks or gain resources, it looks like right here, and each one's different. You're going to have these shuffled and ready to go, and you get to draw one, and then those are in your cards, and I believe they become part of your tactics deck as you play through it. But again, we'll have to play through it to see exactly how these are used. And that's everything you're going to find inside the core box of Keep the Heroes Out. We'll move into some of the expansion stuff. There is a small extra character, or I should say enemy, monster, I guess you could say, that we'll look at first. That's going to be the Great Dreamer, which is basically Cthulhu that was part of the unlocks for the stretch goals, I believe. And then there is an extra expansion called the Guild Master's Revenge. So we'll put this one aside, and we'll start looking at what is inside these boxes. This comes with a Cthulhu meeple. It's pretty big, it's pretty awesome, it's pretty sweet, and it has its own set of tactic decks and some rules that go along with it. It says it's in a different language. This game is multilingual, which is pretty cool. So the expansion, this little expansion has like for all different languages here, it looks like, which is kind of neat. So if you ever pick this up, you'll know you'll probably have if you're worried about a specific language, you can check to see which ones are in here. Here's the English one. Sorry, I can't read in the other languages. This cannot die, of course. It has its own special language. It has an ability here that has to do with probably possessing people of some kind. I don't see how heroes would ever survive a Cthulhu running around the dungeon. I think that'd be bad news for them. It comes with its own set of beast cards, and it looks like it has, here we go, this looks like it's a clan card. It's sleeping. That's something else. It apparently is going to spawn onto treasure things. It's going to be able to do this power, which I'm sure is explained in the Cthulhu cards here. Yep, they're right here. These are going to be its special abilities and stuff. So that's the Cthulhu dude. There we go. We'll put him aside, and let's take a look at the Revenge of the Guildmaster expansion. Before we do that, I do have these special tokens too. These are the upgraded tokens. Let's take a look. These are really cool. I love it when they do things like this. These are going to be the health tokens. These are the frog and book tokens. Look at these book tokens. They look so cool. There's actually like a little writing in there on them. And the frogs are really nicely done. These are really good. The last of them are right here. We have the skulls. We have coins, and I believe these are defense tokens. I could be wrong. I'm not sure what those are. But those are the last of the three-dimensional or 3D little objects here. These are really neat. I kind of wish there was a little bit more of them, but I think these are cool from where I see it. What the amount you get, I think, should be enough. We'll see how it goes. I haven't played the game, so I don't know how many of these you're actually going to need. The last little bit we have is the Guildmaster's Revenge expansion. One of the main things that this expansion does is allows you to have like a one versus many type experience where one person can take on the role of all of the heroes going against all the other characters that are in there in the dungeons. Let's take a look at the rulebook and see. I think there's going to be pretty self-explanatory on a lot of the stuff that's in here. It's just adding new meeples for the heroes and giving your heroes classes and upgrades and also some loot cards, and they're having their own type of scenario cards here. And it shows you exactly how to implement all of this stuff into the game. I also believe you could use these meeples in the regular game itself to be able to, instead of using the tokens, it's up to you. I don't see why you can't do that. So we'll put this aside and see what else we have. We'll start with our meeples again. We got a ton of them. We do have like our wizard class or mage class here. We have our warrior, which is this guy right here. He's a giant cat. That's amazing. I didn't expect a cat. We have a one-eyed archer, an archer, I guess, kind of interesting. And then we have, this is going to be a thief character, another cat. We got cats everywhere. Are they all cats? Is that kind of what the deal is here? Oh my gosh, they are all cats. That's kind of funny. Except I don't think he's a cat. But the rest of them all kind of looks like cats. That's kind of interesting. All right. Then we got a deck of cards. There are all sorts of cards in here. They all have different backs because it's not really put together. It's not like just this is one type of deck. So first off, we do get more loot cards for the monsters that are in the deck. Also, we have these cards. Let's see if I can find a better one. This one right here, maybe. Let's see if I can find it. Is this going to be one? Here we go. For example, here is the for all intents and purposes the Guildmaster's character here, the Ranger. The Ranger does get like certain abilities and stuff based on what's on here. The thing I want to show you on the back of it is something I didn't show on the other ones. They do have these things that tell you every step of the action phase. So when it comes to your turn, you're not sure how to do it, you can flip over your card and it shows you all the different things you're going to do through your turn. You're going to play your cards. You could potentially remove some loot from certain areas and replace it. You then draw back up to 5 cards after the end, and then the monsters are going to go, or I should say the hero's turn would go. In this case, it would be just the opposite. Then the monster's turn would go through all of these specific deals on their cards. So everybody does get their own set of things to do on their turn, and that's like the, I guess you could say like the player card. This right here is an interesting thing. So normally when you get the treasure chest, you're able to use them to gain the treasure out of there. But when you play with the Revenge of the Guildmaster scenario, he can keep those tokens, and depending on what the number is, he's able to use those tokens to play these particular cards out there. For example, you can gain more health. You can disarm a trap. Let's see what else we have in here. These are specific scenario cards again that you're going to be shuffling into the scenario deck. These are again are more items and beast cards and potion cards. I could spend this for 6 to get this particular ability. That's pretty awesome. I could spend 4 to be able to unlock a cage of some kind. So there's a whole ton of these different things in here. So it does really change up the game. And being able to bring, gelatinous cube. Why not? That's kind of cool. It does give the ability to gain, give a little bit more of a twist on the game and being able to bring it to a 1 versus many. I don't think I would play this very often. I am more of a cooperative game person, but you know, it might be kind of fun one time to do it like that. So here's, for example, our mage character, and it shows you exactly what his character does when he comes in the dungeon and things of that nature. And of course, there is an upgrade to the character. So on top of being able to just come in the dungeon and or remove a trap, this person would also be able to move to remove a trap as well, because that's their kind of upgrade as they go through the game. Like, they can become more powerful characters, I believe. So that's just those are the cards that are part of this expansion. I just wanted to show you those. And we have our meeple, and that's it. That's the Guildmaster's Revenge expansion. And with that, we have come to the end. That is our unboxing of Keep the Heroes Out. This is an asymmetric cooperative dungeon defense game for 1 to 4 players. I'm excited to get to this. Of course, I will be giving this back to Colin so he can do a playthrough of it on the One Stop Co-op Shop. So please go subscribe to that if you aren't already, though I don't know how many people would be subscribed to my channel without knowing them, because they're an absolutely amazing group of people over there. And a lot of times I do collaborative things with not only Colin, but some of the other members of the One Stop Co-op Shop. We work together so much as a team, and it's so much of a community to be able to bring all these awesome games to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol. And like I said, please leave anything in the comments below. Do you want to see a playthrough of this after Colin does one? I'd be more than happy to do a playthrough of Keep the Heroes Out. It looks like a fun, quick, and entertaining game for not only the family, but also for a gaming group as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon. The link is in the description of this video. Those that have already been part of the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your support. You really make the channel what it is today. Some things that the Patreon is able to do is choose what characters we get to play as, what we are going to be playing in the future, and also help me decide what we're going to paint during our painting sessions that we do every once a week. At least I try to do them at least once a week. It's really fun to do these live painting sessions with everybody. Also, every Monday, Colin and I get together and we do play a game right now. We are working through a game called Oathsworn, but we also do some one-off games as well, so we might even be playing this together live at one point in time. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.